So, I've been told I need to stand back here where the light is. Right. So, what is Rothe? What is Rothe? We're here for Made in Rothe, so what is it? What does it mean? And given the council's propensity for renaming districts and moving them around all the time, it's very difficult quite to get a handle on what Rothe is. There's a plan at the moment to slice off bits of Penyllan and create a new district called Tŷ, and another plan to slice various streets off Rothe. But when you look a bit further, you find that the council don't call this place Rothe anyway. The bit we're in is called Plasnewydd. Does it actually exist? Well, traditionally, the boundary of Rothe was the Rothe Brook. That was the boundary of the parish. And everything that went from the castle over to there was called Rothe. But where did the name Rothe come from? Probably the Irish word rath, which means a fort. And then you look around Rothe and you think, well, where's the fort? We've got Penyllan Hill, but that's not in Rothe. So where is it? Well, it was put to me that the mound on which St Margaret's Church stands, which is the centre of Old Rothe, where the great house was, where the mill was, where the old village was that existed way before anything else, that mound had to be there for something. And the probability is that that was a rath, that was an Iron Age fort taken over as a Christian thing later on. My mother had a different approach to Rothe. I was born and brought up in this area, and I lived in lots of different places, lots of different houses. I'd just like to read a paragraph from my new book, which is called Edging the Estuary, which talks about this. This is my mother I'm talking about. Wherever we lived, she adapted the given district name for her own purposes. And we lived in a lot of places. Every 2 or 3 years during my Cardiff childhood, we moved house. My father endlessly wallpapering and panelling doors with hardboard, my mother following him around with a can of cream paint. Once the house settled and I discovered every nook and cranny, they sold it, moved on. I felt my gypsy blood rising, Finch the wandering Jew, Finch forever making new friends as the streets around him shifted. When we lived in Rothe, my mother instructed us to put Rothe Park as our address. Our terrace by Rothe Recreation Ground was described as Kincoid. She was adept at creating completely new parts of the city we lived in, my mother. Upper Victoria Park, Waterloo, Penyllan Hill, Carisbrooke. When I told them in school that I lived in the Gardens, a district she'd invented on the basis there was a park over the road from where we now lived, everybody laughed. Made in Rothe, which I'm extremely proud to be opening today, hasn't been running for decades. It's first started in 2009, but in the 5 years since then, it's gained a huge reputation. The original idea of making sort of open artist studios weekends along the style of the annual RHS Open Gardens has been significantly added to, making Rothe an all-embracing art, literature, music and fun weekend. So more strength to Gail and Helen and Nia for making it so. Now, since this is an arts activity, I think I should read just a couple of poems to you. This is a new one. Always try something you've never tried before. This is a quiet poem about the city. As a city, it often thinks about itself. Out there among the galloping winds, has it got its towers straight? It knows what it is. It's put its name up in a shouting bilingual rash all over its face. It is a place of beguiling sparkle and drunken stumble. It runs in my veins how it was not how it is. As a city, it wonders how it ever changed, with its docks a pasteurised echo and its workers without a lump of hard skin on any of their hands. Its history hangs around it like rags. Here's a list of its rivers: the Taff, the Ely, the Rumney, the Roath, the Tan, the Canna, the Weddell, Nant, Glandilais, Nant, Tidraw. They all rush to the sea where there are tides and salt. There the ships that made this city once sailed, but now do not. But on its bed of silt, behind its walls, the city still floats. I'd like to read something that's slightly different, given the variously academic nature of the event, deeply artistic activity. I thought I'd share with you my view of part of our Welsh heritage, our common Welsh heritage. I see one or two faces here already know what I'm going to read you, but this is part of my ongoing work in translating the Middle Welsh Mabinogi into something that has contemporary currency. And I'll read a section, just a short section for you now. There we go, this is the Blodeuwydd section. I was pling stuff love I entered screaming. The winds but for the grass but grok to clip for the winkle. I am stark and I am starched to shit and shot my modernness appalling. Nast I fop on me troubles sterling. I list why I was I am stormed with starlight. Starlight, me, God, gath stir starlight, why, I blood, oak, broom, meadowsweet. Because that's what she was made of, the lady of the flowers. So that's enough of academia. I'd just like a show of hands before I read this poem, which I'll finish on. I'd like to know how many people present have ever sat on a committee. Anyone here sat on a committee? That's a fair number. So we have a few people here who will understand what I'm talking about. This comes from a time when I worked in a bookshop that got taken over and moved sideways into the private sector. Getting through the agenda. It's morning. At the meeting, I can't seem to make my mouth work. No one else is affected. They all talk in fervent streams. The meeting is so engaging that by item 3, I'm asleep with my eyes open. But no one can tell. Years ago at an arts management brainstorm, boredom drove me to assembling Airfix kits on the table edge. Plastic glue stuck the agenda to my sleeve, and being the arts, no one mentioned it. Creativity, but this is real business. Different, I guess. At item 15, someone proposes that we should agree, and everyone's hand goes up. For something to do, I put mine up too. I run out of paper clips to unwind. The man next to me clacks his briefcase catch, says the train, and goes. I could have done that. Now can't. By item 20, my agenda margin is a Maori tattoo, and I have my pen standing like a tree on my notepad's edge. In the dark far corner, the accountant is in Mahayana meditation or dead. There are ravens cawing in the chairman's voice and sea sponges drifting in my head. At item 30, I am stretched out to avoid back contact with my chair. There are 506 grain marks on the table. Think about that. They pass me a sheet which asks my expenses. It has all led to this. You can smell the sweat as we stand hauling suit jackets over crushed shirts. The dark sky will gleam in our headlamps as we chase it home. We have made great progress. My mouth says this. How the hell does it know? Oh yes. Think about it.